Hey there, my name is Jessup Flower. I am a screenwriter, educator, and all-around learning, training, and development nut, and welcome to the My Favorite Teacher podcast.
Oh, my favorite teacher makes the rocking world go round.
Yes, that's right. Welcome to the My Favorite Teacher podcast. Thanks so much for coming back. We are so glad that you're here. I have to jump right into this because my guest today, oh my gosh, a big deal. Okay. My guest today is an Emmy-winning writer and producer for incredible shows that you've all seen, such as Everybody Loves Raymond and Parks and Recreation. And he has developed and created shows like the PITTS and DUNCANVILLE and Shifting Gears. And of course, he was a showrunner for several more shows, including several seasons of The Simpsons. It's amazing that I have him. Please welcome Mike Scully. Mike, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, hey, Jessup. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining me. Oh my gosh, after that introduction and all your credits, I just have to tell you, we're out of time. We're out of time for the podcast. So. I really appreciate you
didn't
being
mention
here.
all the crappy shows.
No way. You've got incredible shows on there. I mean, and I'm not going to take the time of the audience or your precious time as well talking about things that you've already talked about 100 times on different podcasts. And if you are out there watching and you want to know more about Mike Scully, you can see him on all kinds of cool podcasts. But one thing I remember, Mike, from your from one of the things that you talked about when you were kind of first getting involved and working with Yakov Smirnoff and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sorry to say, I have to plug this, even though it's not around anymore. Alex Sulkin and Goldie's podcast, Typical Disgusting Display. That's where I just fell in love with those guys and you and the whole bit. So
Yeah, they were great. It was such a fun podcast. It really was.
It really was. I
thought they did a great
it.
job. Yeah.
But in that, you talked about how at one point when you were kind of breaking in that you had written like 11 or 12 spec scripts to kind of, get your foot in the door. My question, do you remember the first one that you wrote?
Yeah, the first one was for the show Taxi.
It was a Taxi spec script. Okay.
Yeah.
And the premise, if you care to talk about it, because I don't remember.
Well, let's see. It was a spec script. It was, oh, fuck. I think of that because I wrote 3 Taxi spec scripts.
Oh my gosh, really?
I think I was determined, I guess, to work for Jim Brooks someday. But I think the first one was where the cabbies pooled their money together to get out of the garage and get away from Louis, and they pooled their money and bought the little bar restaurant that they used to hang out at that was next to the garage.
Wow.
I think it was called Mario's. And then, found out that they didn't know anything about running a business and realized what they needed was a Louis.
Oh, that's awesome. So then you have to find out the thing that you dread the most about your work is something that you actually need. Now, did you get attention from that? Like, did any of those actually kind of get some attention? Which one did people like?
The first couple, I mean, like they were rejected so quickly. I almost felt like I had, because you and this is like 1980, 1982 maybe, 83, and you could submit to a show without an agent, but you had to get a release form from the studio. It's like from Paramount, who produced Taxi. It was basically a release form saying, feel free to steal my script.
Right, absolutely. And I'm sure many probably were.
So, but it really felt like I dropped it in the mailbox, drove home, whistling optimistically.
Right.
And then opened my mailbox at home and it was already there and rejected. But, it did get read. By a story editor over there. And each time I submitted, I got rejected by somebody higher.
Nice.
Somebody would hand it up to somebody else. And, so that was like the Taxis. There was a writer named Catherine Green who was very supportive and nice to me in the early days. And I would go to tapings of the show too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And just sit in the audience?
I did that a lot. Like I saw a lot of episodes of Taxi, and then years later, I was like Cheers and
Yeah.
Family Ties, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to learn the whole process.
Right.
So, and
Well,
it
you
didn't
get to
cost
see all
anything.
of the in-betweens and everything, and you get to see the writers that are happen to be lucky enough to be on set for their episodes and everything like that, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I'd even hang around afterward and watch when they were like doing pickups after,
Yeah.
or maybe changing a couple of lines here and there, or just making sure they got the shots. I was just fascinated with every aspect of it. I just wanted to learn it all.
With the world. I love that. Do you remember any of your jokes that you remember from those first ones that you're still just like, man, that was...
Oh, God.
I mean, we all look at our own work fondly, of course.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would have to be thinking back. Like,
I know, I'm really
over
throwing you
40
under the
years.
gun on that one. I'm sorry.
I still have them somewhere. They're in a box.
Oh, it's awesome. Well, fast forward several years to, and you know, I'm not alone in this, but obviously one of the favorite shows that you wrote on, Parks and Recreation. And I know that you recently did a podcast about the episode that you did, but I have to bring it up again because the one that you did with Adam Scott and the comeback kid and the season, so season 4, I think it was, just literally goes down in my brain as one of the hardest that I've ever laughed out loud watching TV, because I mean, the whole thing, and they didn't spend too much time talking about it on the podcast, but his section when Rob Lowe goes to visit Adam Scott and he's depressed and he does his claymation, it's a criterion for me.
Yeah. No, it came out great, and I can't take credit for that. It's a that show had an amazing staff, and I think I said, like, a lot of that story got broken on a day when I wasn't there.
Oh, really?
I was still consulting at Simpsons one day a week.
Yeah.
And that day I happened to be at Simpsons, and I came in the next day and they're like, "Hey, we got this story for you to write."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, when you are given that task, right, how, even with all of the shows that you've done and all the scripts that you've written, what is the feeling when you get those notes and you basically go to then culminate it into a script?
Oh, then you take it as if you came up with the whole. I mean, but you're remembering where everything came from, and you know how hard they were laughing while breaking the story, and how hard they worked on it. So you definitely don't want to let the staff down by turning in, a shitty draft.
Right, of course.
So you just put yourself in the mindset, while you're doing it, that you just want to make them laugh.
Right. Now, with that, was that the time that you probably found that you worked and kind of got that relationship with Amy Poehler going a lot of the times there?
Yeah, I was there for 3 seasons, and the whole cast was really nice, and the room was great. Mike Schur was a terrific showrunner, and it was actually Greg Daniels that brought me over there because we had worked together on Simpsons. But during when you're working, sometimes you get to be on set as the on-set writer, like for your episode, or sometimes I'd fill in for somebody else's. And so you start to develop a relationship with the cast. And Amy and I are both, from Massachusetts, and we're just like massholes. And
A couple of massholes.
Yeah, pretty much. And, we just kind of clicked and stayed friends, after the show was over. And then wound up doing an animated show together.
Duncanville, right?
For Duncanville, yeah. And we
Fantastic.
did 3 seasons of that. And then then Disney bought 20th. And then suddenly, like, from a business perspective, they couldn't figure out there was like 3 studios all producing the show. And they said financially it didn't make sense, for any of them. They were all, they're always looking for the home run financially. It's like, well, what if you all just, you're only going to have to put in 1/3 of the money, so you get less back, but you're risking less money.
Right.
And I just couldn't sell them on it, and anyhow, so now it's gone. But it was a lot of fun.
And the episodes are still available. They're still great and everything like that.
Yeah,
So
they're on Hulu.
I would imagine they're on Hulu for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Also had
and
a
then-
great cast on that. Like, besides Amy, with Ty Burrell.
Oh, yeah.
And Rashida Jones and God, Zach Cherry from Severance.
Oh, just
was on there.
amazing. Zach Cherry is one of those.
Yeah,
He's
it
one
was
of
a
those ones
terrific
that you see and you just like, where's he been? But he's always been around. He's always been in things, and then he breaks out. Ty Burrell, funny enough, went to my high school, which was which was Hidden Valley High School in like Grants Pass, Oregon.
Oh, he's
so
talked about
if I
that
ever meet
area,
him, I'll have something to talk about.
Isn't it like the rainiest area of the United States?
Yeah, it's one of the rainiest areas in the United States for sure. So, well, all of that to say, I mean, you've done just so many incredible things in your life, and the premise of the podcast. It was one of the things that I was most excited about when I came up with the idea of the podcast. When you were in school, Mike, did you ever think that you would be doing stuff like this? I mean,
oh God, no. No. I mean, in hindsight, I might have been preparing for it, but not consciously realizing it. But it really, was. I did a lot of, writing in school. I was always kind of a class clown.
Sure.
And I had some, teachers that were very supportive, but it was kind of like I was like, kind of like straight A's until like eighth grade. And then in eighth grade, there was a thing I did, I don't know, the science teacher was doing, and I kind of messed with something that wound up getting a giant laugh in the class, and the teacher was furious with me. And it was kind of at that point, I decided, getting straight A's is fine, but boy, that laugh.
That heroin hit. Yeah.
And for some reason, I thought it was like a binary choice. Like, well, you can't be, funny and smart. You have to pick one.
Right. That's amazing, though. That's when you really got bit by the bug, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah. Wow. And when I was finally making a decision of like what to do, with my life when I was like 25, I was kind of making a list of what do I like? What are my passions, if any? And it was like, watching TV, comedy, music, it was just stuff like that. And so I wound up coming out here to give it a try,
That's
figuring
amazing.
the worst that can happen is, you go home a giant failure.
Well, thankfully that didn't happen. We know that for sure. So when you were in school, and this is kind of brings it to the premise of the show, Mike. So I will pose the question to you. Did you have, or was there one or multiple favorite teachers? And if so, why?
There was a few teachers that really kind of had an impact on me without me realizing. But then I had a teacher in sixth grade, and his name was James Doyle. And at that time, he was like the first male teacher I had ever had.
Oh, interesting.
It was like a big deal, at like whatever year, like late 60s.
Yeah.
To have a male teacher. And he came in and he just had a fun way of doing things. And he did a lot of stuff on his own time and spent money out of his own pocket before teachers were forced or expected to do it the way they are now.
Right.
But he would just do this stuff. And he started in sixth grade, he started a school newspaper.
Oh. Okay.
And we would, do it, and you print it out on those the old like mimeograph machines.
Mimeographs, yeah.
Crank them up. And it was called the Weekly Flash. And he was giving us all jobs on the newspaper, and for some reason he made me editor. And I think he had seen something that I hadn't seen. And I kind of ran with it. He let me write whatever I want. I could write editorials, and they could be like silly editorials, like taking stands on just stupid things, or
school lunches. What's the deal?
Yeah, exactly. I know it's an elementary school newspaper, so we literally had stories of like boy falls off porch, like that kind of thing.
Praying mantis found out behind A block.
Yeah. But getting that experience of doing that and putting a newspaper together every week to put out to the school was, a great thing. He did a lot of stuff like that. He formed like a school, like sixth grade school basketball team. And so we could go, and he would drive us in his car. He'd put like 5 of us in his car and drive us to other elementary schools, and we'd play against their six. And it's all on his own time.
That's
and his
amazing.
own money. And I was like, which is weird. Like now, if a teacher did that now, they'd
No.
probably get
Huge
get
red flags.
arrested just for having a kid in the car.
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
But he really, and I've talked to other, kids that I'm still friends with, now, and we talk, and he's definitely like a lot. I grew up in a town called West Springfield, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And for that, the kids that had him as a teacher, he's inevitably their favorite teacher.
I love that. Is there any way of knowing, like, is he happen to be still around by any chance at all?
No, he passed away about a year and a half ago, but I did.
Recent.
Yes, yeah. I did. I had seen him a few times. I made it a point to go back when my career was finally going and I was back there. I went to go see him because I wanted to thank him. And at that point, he had become like a principal at another school.
I would
And
imagine.
it was kind of fascinating because, he took the principal job, not really that he wanted it, but it paid,
Yeah.
it was like $10,000 more a year,
Yeah.
and he had a family.
Yeah.
So he took it, but he had gone from, and he said this to me, he goes, I've gone from being the guy that the kids were excited to see to now, like, they like avert their eyes
Yeah.
if they see me coming down the hall. And, he was now the punishment.
It probably broke his
know?
heart.
Yeah, yeah. So he had kind of lost some of that. He was missing teaching, which I never forgot about that. But we did, and then just about 5-6 years ago, I went back again, and we met for a drink.
Really?
At it was like 4:00 in the afternoon at this little dive bar in town, and he and some other retired teachers had this thing called the 4:00 Club, where they would meet once a week at this bar and have a drink. So and he and I wound up spending a couple hours just sitting at the bar and talking. It was a lot of fun.
That is so cool. Kind of like the little Inklings, club, from like Tolkien and C.S. Lewis back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, I would encourage anybody who's listening, if you have that favorite teacher and they've made a difference in your life, or if you wound up not doing something because of them, but they really just impacted you, to go back and thank them, because he did say, he goes, you always wonder what happened to certain kids, and that, and he goes, you very seldom find out, so unless somebody, makes it a point to tell them, they just don't know.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm so glad I did.
Oh, I am so glad you did too. That's like literally like the perfect commercial for this podcast too, because that's our whole goal, Mike, as you very well know, is we want people to be encouraged and to have the positive vibes out there. But if teachers happen to see this, that they know, hey, what you do in those trenches matters for sure. Now,
absolutely.
You have something that actually is even a little bit closer to home from what you mentioned even before we started recording, and that you have some teachers that are close to you.
Yes, I 2 of my daughters are teachers, and I've always encouraged them to. I always use like Mr. Doyle as the North Star of like, this is the teacher you should aspire to be.
Wow. Do you mind sharing, like, or if you're comfortable, what do they teach, and like, what's their area of expertise?
Yeah, one, I mean, she has taught now she's taught elementary school, like 3rd grade.
Wow.
And now she's working in special ed, and she's getting her master's in that. And the other one is teaches preschool. And she's been doing that for about 10 years now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and she loves it. And, teachers, like, particularly at that, when you're dealing with kids at a young age, they form. I remember a quick teacher story. Like, my brother Brian and my brother Brian was a writer on Simpsons and Family Guy and Drew Carey.
Yeah.
But anyway, we had, for kindergarten, we had this wonderful teacher named Mrs. Williams, and just a weird little digression here.
I love
who
it.
I found out like 25 years later was the mother of blues musician Taj Mahal.
What?
And I had no idea when I was a kid.
And she probably never mentioned anything about it.
No. And I've looked up his bio, and I was like, and it says he spent time living in Springfield, Massachusetts. Like, holy shit. Yeah. But anyway, so I think 5 years old. And the kindergarten teacher, because back then you didn't really have preschool. You started school in kindergarten.
Right.
The kindergarten teacher is what forms your first impression of school. That's the person you kind of base it all on. So Brian and I both had Mrs. Williams, and then our younger brother, Neil, comes along and he gets kindergarten, and Mrs. Williams isn't there anymore. It was the year she left, and there was this new teacher there, and she was just miserable. She clearly didn't like children.
Just in the wrong career.
Oh, and she was just mean and really made our brother hate school.
Sure.
Whereas Brian and I loved it. So it's that kind of impression that one teacher can make, for better or worse.
Absolutely.
So I was lucky. I mean, not every teacher I had was my favorite, but there were things I got from a lot of different teachers who were encouraging. And one teacher in high school, like I had gotten in a lot of trouble. I forgot what I did in class, but wound up with detention. And he used to make me sit. I used to sit up front because I didn't want him to miss any of my gyms. But he actually made me sit in the back corner of the class. And then one day he made me come back for detention. And it was just the two of us in there. And he goes, and he called me Scully. He goes, Scully, he goes, you're actually really funny. He goes, but I can't show that to the class. Amazing. I'll lose control.
Now, what does that do? I'm sorry, you said you were how old when that happened? You were in high school?
I was in high school, so I was probably about 16 then.
16 years old. What does that do to a 16-year-old ego,
Yeah, for him to tell me that I was funny meant the world. And again, he was trying to teach me to kind of pick my spots. I think it was before the expression "read the room" existed.
Read the room, or the most important thing in comedy is timing, my friend. Right?
Yeah.
Right? That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are there any other teachers that come to mind? Just because this is literally, the whole aim of the podcast.
That guy his name was Mr. Sheezer. I had also in high school a teacher. I worked on the school newspaper in high school. His name was Mr. Connors, and he was the editor of that. And by that point, I was just writing kind of silly, made-up stories.
Sure.
And he would print them every week because he thought they were funny, and so he was encouraging. A teacher named Mr. Solomon, who didn't so much encourage in terms of writing, but he was super funny, and he also had like an interesting backstory in that he had been drafted by the Green Bay Packers football team, was in training camp, made it to the final round of cuts, and injured his knee. And probably something now that they could fix, but this was like 1969, 70,
Sure.
And so he couldn't play. And wound up becoming a teacher, and would have had a right to be kind of an unhappy teacher, kind of a pissed off guy.
Sure, bitter, yeah.
But instead, he had this very subtle sense of humor where, like, if you were taking a test, and he was a big guy and he had a deep voice, but while you were taking a test and it was really quiet in the room, he would like go back and forth in his chair, and it would squeak every single time. And he would just keep doing it to see how long would we like try to continue working until we finally look up and go, "What the fuck?
What are you doing, man?"
Or he'd walk up and down the aisles, and he would stop at somebody and kind of look over their shoulder to see what they're writing, and then he would just kind of stifle a laugh and go,
Oh,
no,
no.
it's fine. It's fine.
just to put those small seeds of doubt in
yeah.
That's amazing.
And I thought, God, here's a guy who's got a right to kind of like hate life at this time. Because I think we're his first students after he became a teacher. And he found a way to be a good teacher and have fun with it.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is all of these teachers that you were talking about, it wasn't just like they were the cool ones and they let me do whatever I wanted or whatever it was. Still great teachers, still putting out content, still doing instruction, but at the same time investing, right? Investing in every single person. And it just sounds like they did that with you too.
Yeah. They were very tolerant and encouraging.
Oh, well, Mike, thank you so much for sharing those stories. I mean, it's just honestly something that's kind of near and dear to our hearts at the podcast, that we want to reach out to those people and just encourage them and say, man, hang in those trenches because what you do matters. And so I really appreciate those for sure.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Hey, any plugs? And this is kind of the time that I want to say any plugs. Is there anything out there that you have kind of currently going that you want people to check out, or even stuff that you did before that's like, hey, go back and see this. It helps with my little green checks that come in the mail.
Let's see. Yeah, Duncanville is on Hulu, and what else? No, actually, just working on like pilot ideas to go
Nice.
out and pitch again, and waiting for the business to kind of
Turn around a little bit.
waiting for them to want to start making TV shows again, and trying to think what else I've been doing. Yeah, I pick up little like side gigs. Oh yes, I'll plug one thing. Mike Schur, who co-created Parks and Rec,
Right.
has a show coming on Netflix this Thanksgiving week, next week, called A Man on the Inside, starring Ted Danson.
Oh, excellent.
And I came in on that. I only worked like 3 weeks on it, just helping punch up scripts. But that was a lot of fun. I was already a fan of the show because I really loved the first season.
Yeah.
Ted Danson is just so good, man. He makes comedy look effortless.
He does. Have you written for him before in one of the previous shows? I'm trying to think of.
With Danson?
Yeah.
No, I had never met him before. It was so cool. He stopped by the writer's room one day and just he was with his wife, Mary Steenburgen, who's also in this new season.
Oh,
of
is
the
she
show.
really? Oh, great.
Yeah, it's a great cast. Gary Cole is in it. It's really, really great
Wow.
people. But yeah, they came by the room, and it was so weird. We were on the Paramount lot, and from the writer's room window, you can see the Cheers soundstage.
Wow.
Which is stage 25. And it was just so weird to be there with him. And I finally did get to talk to him. And I told him how I used to wait in line with, to get in every Tuesday night when they would film the show. And I actually had a job. I had at a store in the Glendale Galleria, and we did like personalized coffee mugs and stuff like that. Well, I had gotten an order one year we would sandblast beer mugs, and I did like 400 beer mugs with the Cheers logo on it. And somebody from the show came in, and I wound up doing all these mugs. They were giving them out as wrap party gifts,
yeah,
and
that baby,
stuff like that. And so yeah, we talked about that, and it was just cool. He's just a very nice man.
He seems like
even
it.
on Cheers, it was just what I always loved about Ted Danson is he never looks like he's trying to be funny. He just kind of glides through. He just has such a relaxed way about him.
Just effortless. And his run on The Good Place. Oh
my God.
I mean, just incredible.
Yeah.
I loved that show because of that. So
I think people almost take for granted how good he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just expect him to be great.
yeah, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, thank you so
I'll
much.
plug that.
I love that. We'll be looking forward to that for sure. Are you a social media person? Do you like anybody to contact you or?
No, I'm still on Twitter, but I seldom tweet. I was just kind of dabbling in Blue Sky, but I don't know if I'm going to.
It didn't really take. It didn't seem to take, did it?
No, and it's kind of almost the same problem for me. It's just Twitter was so much fun in the early years when it was really, 80% of it was people being funny.
Yes.
A lot of your favorite comics, people you didn't know but were fans of, and other comedy writers, you'd get to know them through their Twitter feed.
I agree.
That kind of stuff. And then, 2016, it all started to become more politics, and that's what I find over Blue Skies. It's nicer, the people are nicer, but it's still a lot of politics.
Yeah.
So I do kind of miss that thing where we're just trying to make each other laugh.
I do too.
So,
well,
I
it's
go on,
worth it.
Instagram I'll look at once in a while, but I don't know, it hasn't.
It's worth the follow on Twitter/X just to see Mike Scully's pinned tweet, because I know you've said it before, but I would sure love you to say it again because it is absolutely awesome.
Give me 1 second. I just have to remember it now.
It's about cremated, okay?
Yeah. Just cremated my dad. Now who's never going to amount to anything?
Oh, that's classic. Yeah, worth it for that. Lots of gems in there.
Yeah,
Mike, you were an absolute pleasure, and I know that for sure teachers are going to be encouraged by your stories just to keep on going. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. And to everybody else that was watching out there, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, do all the subscribe stuff that you should. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, drop a review. It really does help us to get seen. And the more we get seen, the more we get to encourage people out there. Thanks so much again to my guest, Mike Scully. Thanks so much to everybody. Be nice out there to somebody. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.